right, let's start with the Yankees game first because the Mets, again, trying to get through that and listening to Dave Roberts talking about, I'm assessing the 7-game series and we were trying to get through this game with the bullpen, blah, blah, blah. Dude, you shouldn't have walked to get to Vientos because you pissed him off and he hit a granny off of you. I mean, that would have been a better answer, but we'll start with the Yankees. Guardians, 7 walks. I don't even know how many pass balls, wild pitches you want to call. I call them pass balls though. When you're on one knee with runners on base, it's complete baseball garbage. Anybody who tells you different, any analyst has never played this game. I don't allow my 16U players, who are mostly 15 and 14 and pretty damn good catchers, because I'm trying to teach them how to block the ball, especially with a guy on second or third. Every run is critical in the postseason. It has to be treated as much. Strikes are not as critical. I can throw a 3-0 pitch down the middle. Guy will pop it up sometimes. That's because most of these guys are hitting 240. So it's more about, I don't understand why you're trying to get and frame strikes over trying to not allow runs or runners to move up bases. It's insanity. And it proved its ugly head last night, or reared its ugly head last night against the Yankees. It's cold. These guys weren't hitting. The Yankees, as it was, scratched out 6 hits.
Glad you brought that up.
Listen, when it's cold and it's 40 degrees, I'm staying with fastballs. I'm jamming you inside, because if I jam you the first at bat and hurt your hands, you remember it the next time up and the next time up. These guys, trust me, you're no tougher today than we were 30, 40 years ago. In fact, I would say you've probably got better gear, but you're softer as far as not wanting to get injured with all the different gear that you have on. But just watching Naylor and then his backup come in and do the same thing, that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting to get a different outcome from it. So I'm embarrassed for the Guardians, who got to this point with really good pitching, timely hitting, and you go out there and basically allow the Yankees to score extra. I think they allowed 3 extra runs on pass balls, and those 3 runs would have been a tie ball game. They'd still be playing. It'd be 2-2. So, shame on the catching of the Guardians. Shame on the Guardians coaching staff for, after the first one, not saying, hey, Naylor, enough with the one knee down with a guy on first, second, or third. You do it with nobody on, but you don't do it with guys on base. So I needed to get that out there, because when you're watching baseball at this level, there's a few things that really need to be talked about, and allowing guys to easily either steal off the pitcher or just take extra bases and then come home on stupid pass balls or wild pitches. Here's the thing. If I don't trust you to stop a breaking ball with a man on third, it really confuses my brain if you're calling for a breaking ball and I know it's either going to bounce by you or you're not going to snuff it out.
Right.
So, again, that's a confidence killer. If I know you can't stop the ball because you got one knee in the dirt and there's a guy on third, I'm not going to throw that pitch, which actually helps the other team. So you're doing things that are trying to help the other team all the time. I just think it's counterproductive.
Yeah, all 5 were counted as wild pitches. It's funny, the only pass ball was credited towards the Yankees catcher that came in there, but I knew you were thinking that as soon as the first one went by as well. Just as I looked at his knee. I saw it before that because I was thinking of you as well, because I know you hate the frame pull up, and that's what they're trying to do, the little frame pull up.
Let me clarify that. I don't hate it with nobody on base, but when you're going for the down up with a guy on second or a guy on third or even a guy on first who's trying to steal second, you cannot pop up off of one knee and throw a guy out. You have 1.2 seconds. First of all, I have to throw the ball to home plate. Let's just go through the whole thing here. I can only engage you twice at first. So now I've engaged you twice. I know you're probably going to steal. If you've got one knee down and I'm trying to get the ball to home in under 1.2 seconds, 1-1, that's what these the short step, the quick step, whatever you want to call it, the slide step. I don't even know what these guys do anymore. They don't even slide step. They just they come up and throw. And so they lose mile an hour off the ball, whatever. They deliver it in 1.2 seconds, 1.1. You have less than 1.2 seconds to pop up time and throw the guy out at second. There's no physical chance of you getting up off your knees and throwing a guy out at the major league level. So I just think that whoever put it in the catcher's brains 5, 6, 10 years ago and said this is the next evolution of catching is insane. And so that it's killing the game. It's killing it at every level. But you saw it last night in the playoffs where it was unforced errors. And if you were doing that in any other sport, people would be losing their minds. Right now, people, they haven't really caught on to the stupidity of it. But a lot of retired guys like myself that talk online about it are just livid about it because it's a simple thing you can rectify by just getting in the crouch position, getting your rear end, and getting ready to throw to second.
It's become a fad. You've been talking about it for at least 2 seasons.
It's a lazy fad.
That's the thing is it's just lazy. I don't understand the advantage that you're getting from doing it, and even the best of the best aren't doing it. So I don't understand why they are. Francisco Alvarez is another culprit of this, and he scares the crap out of me behind the plate sometimes just because of that stance. Now, he's very talented, so is Bo Naylor, but these little details...
But they're not. Let's just stop there. The Indians have the worst pass ball rate in the American League. They suffer the most pass balls, wild pitches, and runs scored in the American League. So you've gone the whole year. You've won 92 games. You probably could have won 102 games. How many games were cost by balls getting behind the catcher? So to me, it's something that should have been rectified before they got here. Walks, yeah, it's cold. It was hard to throw strikes. Both teams had trouble throwing strikes, but at the end of the day, you walk 7 Yankees and you give up 5 wild pitches.
That's 12. That's 12 free passes.
That's 12
right there.
Extra bases right there, and that you can't give the Yankees extra outs.
The thing is, you can get away with it in the regular season, even if you are the worst in the league. You can still get to this point in the playoffs. But when it comes to the playoffs in a 7-game series and all hands on deck, all little factors matter. Those were huge last night. And I love what you said, too, about confidence. For these pitchers, they have to know that a wall's going to be back there when the man's on third so they can throw their stuff. The good, though, Carlos Rodon was excellent last night.
He was excellent. Now, nine punch-outs, no walks.
Right.
I mean, if your guy he got 18 outs on 93 pitches, but he was attacking the strike zone. Gets through the first inning, and I knew immediately Indians are in trouble because this guy's now got his confidence on. And it's cold. He throws in the mid-90s. He throws a good cutter in on righties. He's tough on lefties. And he was just murder on these guys last night, and that's exactly what they needed. So when we talk about guys and we blast guys that don't do, like Dylan Cease didn't do his job with the Padres, you got to give this guy credit because his confidence, early in games has been bad all year, and you needed him to step up in the postseason. He has.
Another game tonight, the Mets-Dodgers series will be off for a day. That was a huge win for the Mets to tie things up. Going back to New York, Mets fans are fired up for this. It was a sports night in New York City last night. On top of the football as well, you also had the Islanders and Rangers on at the same time. But a lot of stuff was going on. I just thought that last night's win for the Yankees is kind of a big breath of fresh air in this series in particular. To get game 1, it's somewhat of a sigh of relief, but it's not done. Big game tonight as game 2 will start at 7:30.
With Cole on the hill.
With Cole on the hill.
So if you could get another 15, 18 outs, they didn't blow out the bullpen last night. They did their 7, 8, 9 regiment of guys, Clay Holmes and getting to Weaver.
But what do you think about Cole on the hill? I think it's risky because you got to show up for this guy. You can't waste a start, and you would like a game where you don't need a lot of bullpen, and that would probably be Cole starting. And tonight's the night, so you're looking for another 7, and you're looking for another setup guy and close it out.
I think you win the second game, you go to Cleveland, you have an off day, you can rest your bullpen if you have to use them tonight, but this is why you got Rodon and Cole. You got Rodon and Cole to get a stranglehold on any series, whether it's this one, they're going to make a couple more starts each in the postseason. You go one more, you're probably done, and then you're moving on to the World Series. This is why you need these guys. And listen, you've been getting the timely hitting that you need from the guys other than Judge and Soto.
Yeah.
The wild pitches and all the other garbage by the Guardians really helped you. Hopefully the Guardians clean that up tonight. The Guardians did have a little bit of fight, but listen, Rodon shut that down. Whenever he got in a jam situation, he shut it down, not adding things. The 7 walks puts extra pressure on the defense. Now you walk guys. Now guys are in motion. It puts a lot of pressure and stuff, and a lot of those runs end up coming in, not just with the wild pitches, but guys are able to drive them in with runners in scoring position. So I think when you look at the 1 walk, it came from Weaver in the 9th inning. You went 8 innings without giving up a walk. To me, that's a terrific job by your rotation. If you could do the same. Cole is a strike thrower. If Cole is on tonight, he doesn't put a lot of extra pressure on the defense with walks. I see the Yankees having another good night.
Got a hit.
Got a hit for him. But let's get to the Dodgers and the Mets, though, because the Dodgers started with Ryan Brazier. They got to Brazier early. Then a little bit later on, they have the bases loaded, but they didn't have the bases loaded until the Dodgers loaded the bases. And Mark Vientos, again, when you're watching it unfold in front of you, and Vientos is the type of guy, and I love what he said. He said, I was disrespected. You gave him an extra nugget of intensity and adrenaline coming into that at bat, and so then he launches a grand slam. Now, the Mets waited until late in the game. Alonso, I was texting you guys this. The one pitcher for the Dodgers, I think it was Hernandez, allowed a slow big dude to steal second. Yeah. Then a base hit. Alonso scores from second with a textbook slide away from the catcher. Was brilliant. Wasn't wearing some kind of oven mitt or anything like that. He's an old school bare knuckles guy.
Love it.
It was fantastic. That's the kind of effort you want to see out of your stars like Lindor and Alonso. So kudos to the Mets, 7-3. But Dave Roberts, man, you thought you could sneak a start and a bullpen opener kind of deal by these Mets. The Mets responded. After only getting 3 hits in the first game, they get 10 hits, 7 runs in the second game, and now the series is all even going back to New York with 3 games in a row in New York.
Yeah, that'll be the late game on Thursday, another doubleheader. Yankees will be early. That will be game 3 for them. So 2 game 3s on Thursday. As Dodgers Mets will have to feature Yamamoto, right? Like it's on Yamamoto and Walker Buehler's shoulders now for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, and Minaya, by the way, he battled until he didn't in the 6th inning, and he kind of got into a little trouble, and he had to come in. But when listen, you're getting jittery going through the lineup second, third time. That's the thing. The Dodgers are thin with all these injuries, and Yamamoto, like Rodon, like Cole. Like some of these big time pitchers, these games are what these guys should be living for. So Yamamoto, listen, this guy, whether it's the WBC, whether it's pitching in Japan, whether it's pitching for the Dodgers, he's well aware of the circumstances. He looked uncomfortable from the get-go in his first start. And, when you look at some of these guys, whether it's Senga or Yamamoto, that's one thing I never look at Japanese players and think that guy is not sure of himself. It's rare when you will see guys that aren't sure of themselves. So you need 5-6 strong out of Yamamoto. Their bullpen, again, is taxed, even though they're getting a day off. And that's on the staff of the Dodgers. So just like the Guardians allowed the Yankees to kind of easily steal game 1, letting the Mets have hope, get back into the series, I blame on the coaching staff of the Dodgers. The Dodgers had the Mets right where they want them. They had 33 shutout innings until they didn't with Lindor's leadoff home run, which I think was like a 9-pitch at bat, which shows you Lindor was locked in from the get-go, and he wasn't going to give anything to Ryan Brazier early on.
Yankees tonight, that's around 7:30, 7:38 with the first pitch. Pre-game will be right after Coach Moore Live. UConn football taking on Wake Forest on Saturday. UConn basketball in Mohegan Sun last night. Oh, it was tight at halftime, 44-40 at halftime. People getting nervous about this back-to-back national championship team. Tried to three-peat, and then they put the foot on the gas and blew out Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Which Rhode Island's good, man.
Right.
Archie Miller's got a team. They're going to compete.
Got some good big men.
Good big men, and they can shoot from downtown. That can keep you in a lot of games. 102-75 your finals. UConn wins the exhibition.
Was happy for Solo Ball.
Solo Ball played out.
New kid showed up.
18 points for him.
Mahaney, the other kid. These kids are keepers. They're outstanding in their own right. Samson Johnson. This is your time to shine, bro. It's all on you now as the big man there. So, but they got some other really good big men for UConn as well. I just think that, listen, it's not just jitters. It's these guys. You finally they don't have to practice or scrimmage each other. They actually got to go out and play another team, and you're at the Hall of Fame game at the Mohegan Sun. There's nothing more important. I was watching some of the different interviews and stuff like that, and these guys are so honored to get into the Hall of Fame. And I just think, listening to some of these guys, it's incredible when, you're great for a certain amount of time. And then it's like, hey, we've got another level for you to go to. And it's called the Hall of Fame, where you'll be immortalized. So I think a lot of these college guys are seeing some of that stuff, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was Hall of Fame weekend up there at the Naismith Memorial. Vince Carter, that's I would say the headliner, even though I'm a big Chauncey Billups fan as well. Coach Bo Ryan, this is top of my head. I got a list in my office. I'll bring it to Dibbles and Bits. I had it for yesterday, but we got so much to do yesterday.
Michael Cooper, Doug Collins, Vince Carter, Chauncey Billups. Vince Carter was the one that I was, listening to. So Vince Carter, I can't remember the dude that was interviewing him, but they had driven down because they heard he could jump over a car and dunk a basketball. So a bunch of guys from the Orlando Magic, I think it was Dennis Scott. Dennis Scott and a bunch of NBA guys went down there, and they were the ones that, put him on the map, basically, for college scouts. And they got him into college. This guy goes to college. He was like, listen, I just want to play in the NBA. Then in his mind, he's like, I wanted to try to win Rookie of the Year. Then I wanted to try to, play more than 10 years. And he ended up playing like in 4 different decades and just having a phenomenal career. And then he starts crying. And you could see him thinking back of when I'm 17, 18 years old, not knowing what my future holds, to now standing there, on the steps of the Hall of Fame and being inducted in the Hall of Fame. I think that's a lot of weight on these guys. That looking back when I was 18, if I knew then, and this is what he said, and the same thing Michael Irvin said, had I ever thought about the Hall of Fame, it might have changed my trajectory. So he's like, I'm happy I didn't think about that. Now, in Michael Irvin's case, he said, had I walked through there of the Hall of Fame when I was 18, right, I may have treated my career with a little more respect, and I might not have done some of the things off the field that I did. He goes, but I never pictured myself in the Hall of Fame.
One of the greatest dunkers of all time, if not the best. He's top 5 in my mind for sure. But the one thing I always try to get people to recognize this full career, high school, college, pro, and Team USA, and also
and a gold medal. That's right.
Way more than dunking. This guy was just a phenomenal player. The Toronto Raptors are going to have him as the first number in their rafters, which is totally right. And by the way, was Michael Jordan there last night? Did MJ show up? I know MJ was there all weekend hanging out at the steakhouse. Was he courtside? Did Crispino get him on the pregame? What about Magic?
No.
Thought Magic was getting Jerry West in again. Jerry West, for the second time, is in the Hall of Fame. Did you know that?
No.
He's so good they put him in twice. Once as a player, and I think once as a contributor or something like that.
Yeah, contributor to the game of basketball. Yeah. His son Johnny was there to represent.
No MJ.
Jerry West.
The greatness didn't want to hang and see one of the greatest basketball programs known to man, UConn. They were neutral. We're in neutral colors over here, neutral territory. It's not Tobacco Road.
Oh, they don't have like cool jackets and stuff for these guys?
They've got the gold. They do have like an.
It's an orange jacket.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't going to say gold. I was thinking of a better.
Yeah, gold's the football, yellow. But does baseball have jackets?
No. You should know that. I don't know.
No,
they don't. No idea.
They let these guys come in there like
So give them plaid jackets.
I don't know. It's usually, here it's nice, beautiful. It's like 50 degrees. Baseball Hall of Fame does the end of July, early August when it's so damn hot. Yeah, hey, let's put these old guys, these 90-year-old major leaguers in suits and march them out into a field in the middle of Cooperstown, New York. Brilliant stuff. We got a great show lined up for you. Peter King, retired Hall of Fame sports writer, will join us, talk about some local stuff going on in the Enfield schools. He's helping Enfield try to save some sports programs. We'll talk to Peter King at 4 o'clock. And then Mike Crispino it's kind of dual. He got to do some basketball last night.
Yeah.
This weekend, he'll be doing football against Wake Forest. So we'll talk to Mike Crispino, probably just getting off the golf course at 4:30 from the UConn Sports Network. So keep it right there. It's the Rob Dibble Show. Ben Darnell in your afternoon drive. Happy Tuesday to everybody. It's ALCS Tuesday night. Guardians versus the Yankees. Coach Jim Mora Jr. live at 6 o'clock. Got a very busy day for you, so stick with us. Kirk Kaplan on the ones and twos. Nick Federico's on the YouTube video.